So this is pretty cool. The reason I'm dressed like this is because we are currently 200 feet above London. The London Eye is over there. Now, it's not the kind of job you normally want when both the reporter and the cameraman are scared of heights, but today is definitely worth it. And it's worth it because we are currently almost just over halfway above the top of Elizabeth Tower, otherwise known as Big Ben. Now, anyone who's been to London recently will know that this has been covered in scaffolding. We haven't seen Big Ben look like this for a very long time, but the clock is looking absolutely fantastic. Today is the first day they've unveiled the newly refurbished clock. Now, you can see from the paint here that it's blue. In fact, it's Prussian blue. Now, it used to be black. It was black, painted black in the 1930s, and it's been like that ever since, but now it is blue. This is the first time anyone has been up here since the north face here has been opened. Now, there are two people who know way more about this clock than I do, and they're slightly further back, which is good for me and the cameraman, as I say, because we're both scared of heights. They are Steve and Mark, who are historian and archivist.
That's right.
And you have one of the coolest job titles I've ever heard. What's your job title?
I'm Keeper of the Great Clock.
Keeper of the Great. It sounds like something like Game of Thrones, that, Keeper of the Great Clock. How exciting. What an amazing day that finally we've seen part of this amazing restoration work open to the public.
It's an absolute privilege to come up here and see it so close up. After all the hours of work and all the specialist people who have worked and done the research into this, to actually see the finished article now being exposed to the world is an absolute honour.
People come to London from all over the world and they come here, and part of the charm is to come and see this clock. How amazing is it now? We're starting to see what it will look like when it's finished.
It's fantastic feeling to be part of this team, to actually guaranteeing this for future generations, not 5, 10 or 15 years, but generations after all the work is completed.
It's been an incredible amount of work, hasn't it? I mean, talk us about some of the number of people involved in this project.
Oh, there's been hundreds of people involved, from architects to surveyors, you know, to actually tradesmen who are actually carrying out the work. And of course, my three clockmakers. I've got a dedicated team who have actually taken the Great Clock of Westminster apart, actually piece by piece, and have actually dropped it to the ground floor, and that's been transported away, and that's where they're doing the conservation works on the Great Clock at the moment, ready for its return when the clock is actually finished to accept it.
Fantastic. I mean, Mark, this must have been a labour of love for you. I mean, it's absolutely incredible to be the privilege to work on this, to restore it to its original design that the original designers wanted it to look like.
That's right. It started a couple of years ago with the documentary research, and we've been very fortunate in still having some of the original drawings for that time, which has allowed us to go back to these colours, but also some research has been undertaken taking little tiny samples, chips of paint, and examining those, and that has confirmed what the documentary evidence showed us.
So, as I said before, it's Prussian blue.
Yes.
So this would have been the original colour of the clock when it was first put up?
That's right. So they wanted a nice deep blue, which would ally itself to the white of the glass in the dials, and also match up with the red crosses of St George above. So I think they were planning on the red, white and blue of the Union flag with this scheme. So that's what we've gone back to now, that original scheme.
And I think one of you were telling me 324 bits of individual glass have been put together on this.
Quite correct.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, and each one has been mouth blown. So this means that it's going back to the original technique of the Victorians, who you can just see if you look up that slight wave to the glass, which will give a slight shimmer to the light as the sunlight reflects from it.
It's amazing. One thing I love about this is this gold writing here, all along here, and I'm obsessed with things like this. Tell me what this means again, Mark. All along here.
This is Latin script saying, "God save Queen Victoria I."
And it goes all the way along the clock.
And that runs under each of the dials on all four sides of the tower.
It's incredible. And we've got these little details, 4 little symbols in each corner of the clock. So they're all Tudor symbols, is that right?
Yes, they're Tudor and late medieval symbols of the English kings. So you have here the Dragon of Cadwallader, for example, so that brings in the Tudors and the Welsh symbol. And then another is the Lion of England. You also have Richard II's symbol, which was the chained white hart or deer. and over on the other side, I think it's I think you get back to the Lion again on the other side.
It's absolutely amazing. I always feel slightly sorry for tourists recently when they come to London and they look up and it's just covered in scaffolding. Well, now it's starting to look like it's meant to look. It looks absolutely fantastic. It's incredibly high, and I think we're going to stop now because me and the cameraman Chris might faint if we don't. Stick steady on, Chris. But it looks absolutely beautiful, and this blue is so rich, and hopefully you can see it from the ground floor when it's finished. But started in 2017, it's going to be finished hopefully by 2021. An incredible amount of work, an incredible amount of hours and people involved in this project, but it's starting to look absolutely fantastic, and it looks beautiful, and people around the world can come and enjoy Big Ben once again.